Are you looking for a reason to go to Madeira? Look no further. On the east coast of Madeira, there is a peninsula that makes for an epic hike. Welcome to São de Lourenço. In this video, I'm going to show you the stunning coastal views, the rugged cliffs and terrain of the hike. But first, make sure you get here early. This hike is not a secret, many people know about it, and parking is very limited if you arrive late morning onwards. And also, don't forget your comfortable footwear, sunscreen, water, and most of all, a camera to capture the beautiful landscape. So the trail begins. And it's a nice easy start to the walk, descending down some steps and crossing a bridge. And it's not long before the rugged cliffs come into focus. What do you think of the view there?
I feel like I'm back on Faroe Islands.
It's stunning, isn't it?
Unbelievable, yeah.
It's early days yet in the hike, but just to show you where we've come from, that's the starting point there. Then you follow the road all the way around where you see the people are, over here, and then down to here. How about that for a view? You can tell pretty early on in the hike that the views are going to be pretty special. The hike takes you along a 7-kilometer route to the most walkable eastern point of Madeira. The hike path is also wide enough for two-way traffic in most spaces. There's probably an overall incline of a few hundred meters, but the incline is not immediate and prolonged in a single section. Instead, the incline is quite spread out. So we've just arrived at Gorilla Rock straight ahead, the grey rock at the back. That's the eye, and the nose, and the mouth, and then of course the back of the head.
It looks more like the Grinch to me.
If you're worried about whether you're fit enough to do this trek, don't worry, this is about as steep as it gets. It's certainly built for beginner hikers and unfit people like myself. There's no parts of the trail that I would consider over technical or challenging, and the views are definitely worth the physical effort you put into the hike. There's a reference to Guardians of the Galaxy about that little tiny tree that's just sat there. It looks like Groot. I am Groot. You should be able to complete this walk in about 3 hours, maybe more if, like myself, you're stopping every 2 minutes to admire the views, taking photographs and filming. With regards to the logistics of getting there, we stayed in the town of Canisal the night before the hike and also the day of the hike. It's conveniently less than a 10-minute drive away from the start of the hike. Don't forget, if you want to see the place we stayed in, be sure to check my video out. So looking at the big rock in the middle of the water, this also looks like a gorilla. So are there two gorilla rocks or just the one? Or maybe the first was Grinch Rock. So I've never been to the Faroe Islands, but I have seen photos and videos of it and it does have that vibe, I've got to say. What do you think?
I've been in Faroes and it literally looks like Faroes, but the weather is 10 times better.
You're pretty exposed to the elements on this hike, so make sure you come prepared as it can get windy and there's very little shade or shelter. You see all the people walking along the ridge. We actually did the hike at the worst time of the day, the late morning with the midday sun beating over us. This is also a bad time to come if you drive here in terms of finding a place to park. However, we got very lucky with parking and the weather. It was a beautiful sunny day, a few clouds in the sky, and it wasn't too windy. We thought we'd made it, but as you can see the lighthouse in the distance, there's still a long way to go. It's a perfect day here, lovely sunny weather. Got a nice cool breeze blowing over so we don't get too sweaty, but there's still a long way to go till we get to the end. I'm a little bit conscious as well, obviously since it's November the sun's setting a little earlier, about 6:10. So the time now is about 1 o'clock, so we've got to keep cracking. The peninsula hails from volcanic origin. It mainly consists of basalt. However, there are also some limestone sediment formations. The semi-arid climate and its exposure to north winds has ensured vegetation doesn't have much of a chance to grow, and it also explains the lack of trees here. The dry and desolate landscape gives this part of Madeira a lot of charm, contrasting a lot with the tropical green that exists throughout the rest of the island. The waters around the peninsula have a diverse array of marine life, and if you're lucky, you might spot dolphins or even whales from the cliffs. In terms of wildlife, we saw a couple of species of bird, though I am not sure what type these birds were. So the walk so far has been pretty much a path to follow. There's not much in the way of facilities, i.e. toilets, places to eat, but there's some benches over there, and then going up the hill there's a building, so I don't know Maybe there's a toilet there, who knows. What do we have here? Is this like an oasis in the middle of the desert? That oasis is a cafe that serves coffee and sandwiches. Though the prices did look a little on the steep side, we brought our own food and drink with us for the hike. There's also a toilet there, but beware, you have to pay €1 to use it. So we've made it just about. You can see the island over there on the peninsula with the lighthouse in the distance. The lighthouse, just a little bit information. This was the first lighthouse to be built in Madeira in the year 1870. It was ran on a variety of different fuels such as olive oil and petroleum, but in the year 2000 they decided that they didn't want a lighthouse keeper anymore, so it's solar powered. Now if I'm a lighthouse keeper over there and I've got a view like we've got right now, I'm going to be absolutely gutted if I'm losing my job because I want to switch to solar power, but there we go.
Amazing.
This marks the furthest point away from the car park that you can walk on the hike. You can't make it all the way to the tip of the peninsula where the lighthouse is. This is because there are gaps between land and the ocean that you simply cannot get past. A word of warning when getting your photos at the summit: be careful as it's very windy and the terrain is steep and slippy with big drops on all sides. Once we'd taken our photos, it was now time to turn around and walk back to our car the way that we had came. Looking at the ocean, down the hill that we had just climbed and along the peninsula, this gave us a real sense of just how far we had walked and what we had accomplished. We have made it to the foot of the mountain and now the walk back to the car park, which is longer than we think. You said 45 minutes?
45 minutes.
I think it'll be an hour and a half.
I mean, if we don't piss about and we do not admire every stone on the road, which basically we do, then we're gonna be fine.
So what is the time now? 4:45?
4:45.
So I'll tell you what time it is when we arrive back at the car park. Made it back to the car park. Not 45 minutes, not 1 hour 30, 1 hour 10 minutes. You can see the car park, even though it's late in the day, is still absolutely heaving. That completes the São de Lourenço hike, a must to do when in Madeira. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.